on this computer. So now we're recording. Okay. Good morning and welcome to Tangle Tuesday. I'm so glad you're here. How many people do we have today? We have 13. Excellent. Um, Spring continues. It's stuff is moving forward, I think. I can see on the horizon things improving where there was more or less than improvement before this, shall we say. Uh, Today I go for my vaccine. Very happy about that. Never happier to get a needle in my whole life. Um, and so I just was thinking about stuff. I'm always thinking. So 2 weeks ago, I took an online retreat to the retreat center that I work with, who's south of us, called the Naramata Center. And it was called Wayfinding in Unprecedented Times. And there was just a few people, like maybe 6 or 7 of us on the call, on the workshop. And the instructor was very good, the facilitator, and he talked about wayfinding as a navigational tool used by the ancient Polynesians, which they reenacted in the 1970s with a catamaran. But how they did it, how they felt the waves, these wayfinders that were on board, how they felt the waves to determine where to go next, where were islands, where were inhabited islands, how, because they were so in tune with the nature of the ocean and their own intuition, they were able to find their way across many thousand miles. And so I was thinking about that this week, and so water and waves are going to be our focus. And the one of the things that they did, there was a reading here, and I thought it was really important to share it. It's a poem by Judy Brown, and it's called Trough. So if you take a minute to listen, maybe, and just relax, maybe hold your heart if you'd like to. Take a deep breath and settle into your seat, whatever that may be. Try to feel the earth below your feet. There is a trough in waves, a low spot where horizon disappears and only sky and water are our company. And there we lose our way, unless we rest, knowing the wave will bring us to its crest again. There we may drown if we let fear hold us within its grip and shake us side to side and leave us flailing, torn, and disoriented. But if we rest there in the trough, are silent, being with the low part of the wave, keeping our energy and noticing the shape of things, the flow, then time alone will bring us to another place where we can see horizon, see the land again, regain our sense of where we are and where we need to swim. So I just thought it was a beautiful poem, and it really exemplified certainly the emotional waves that I think we've all been feeling in this last year, and to have the faith to know that we'll be on the top of the wave again. And maybe for you, you're in another part of the world, and that wave is going to be different for everybody and where we are, and to sort of acknowledge that this is where I am on the wave. I'm in the trough. I'm in part way up the side of the wave, and I keep falling back, or I'm over the top. And anyway, I just thought it was really good. So today, for your fun and excitement, you're going to need a piece of paper. Today I'm going to be using Strathmore Mixed Media paper, but if you have a Zentangle tile or any paper at all, this will work. You're going to need a pencil. So this little Zentangle pencil. Also need to be, oh, the Z is gone. It's an Zentangle pencil today. And I've got a Micron 05 with archival ink. And my backup pen is a PN, black as well. And my double backup pen looks like it's an 01. So just in case, my just in case pens. And today, normally I work with markers, but today I thought I'd do some watercolor. And but whatever coloring tools you want to bring to the equation, you can. You can markers, colored pencils, watercolors, whatever you feel comfortable doing and bringing. So I have some water. Notice it's not like a tiny bit of water, it's a goodly amount of water, and that's what you want. If you use a little tiny bit of water, it gets really, really dirty really quickly, and your pigments can get muddled. So you would probably, I would suggest a good amount of water when you're doing watercolor. Let the pigments fall to the ground or fall to the bottom and not float up so easily as it would on a small amount.
Excuse me, Loretta.
Yeah.
Would you be able to use a water brush instead of the
Yes.
water and paintbrush?
Yes. If you've
Okay,
got a
thank
water
you.
brush, which I did at one time and disappeared on vacation several years ago. So I stopped buying them. But yes, you certainly could use a water brush for this. And so I've got a really tiny brush. I think this is an 02 or a 2, but it's so old its number's worn off. And then I have a 6 round connoisseur Taclon mixed with goat, which I really like because it's tough little brush. There's a tortillon if you need one, if you're working with just pencil and for your shading, that's good. And then today for my colors, I pulled out, I even sharpened them. My Caran d'Ache Super Color Soft watercolor pencils, and I like them because they blend well when they're dry, because they're softer than Derwent, softer than Durer, and so they're lovely that way. They're also quite intense in color. I could use Inktense, and I have, but what I like about these compared to the Inktense is that it says it right on the box somewhere. Oh, on the back it says light fast, and that is important to me, that things are light fast. And the Inktense, a little dodgy on that. So let's start. You're going to need a pencil to start with. And again, water is our theme today. Water, flowing waves. And I'm just going to draw a square on my paper because I'm not using square paper. I've got a rectangular piece of paper. So I'm just going to do, oh, very nice little wonky square. And then I'm going to do a little border. So you'd like to, if you'd like to, you don't have to, you can do it edge to edge. I'm just going to put a dot in each corner. Mine's about a thumb width away. And I can see where my paper here has got a lot of detritus on it. So I'm just going to take my little brush and brush that off. Okay. Then I'm going to connect my dots. My pencil. Okay. Make yourself comfortable where you do this. I'm going to turn my tile and my paper. Turn it again. Okay. So you have something like this. This would be the outside of your paper if you're using square. And then some sort of frame if you'd like a frame. And then we're going to do wavy lines with our pencil. Starting, this is about a third of the way down there. Nice wavy line there. then about like that. And I'm going diagonally, but if you want to go straight across and put wavy lines this way, if you feel more comfortable doing that, just go right ahead. Then we're going to do another one this way. Then I'm going to put my pencil away and pick up my 05. So I'm going to turn my paper this way so it's oriented in a diamond style. It's just easier for me. And the first one we're going to do is Zales. I'll just spell that Z-A-I-L-Z. That is one that I developed many years ago. So you start with a C curve. And then you bisect it with some lines. I'm going to turn up, I'm just going to give it a little bit. There we go, that's better. And another one coming off. So these are the waves that are on the top of the ocean. They're little storm waves. And in the ocean, the storms can rage for a long time or little time. And within the storms, there can be squalls. There's always calm. You have to remember that. The calm always comes. It's always there. And if you want, you can put little orbs here and there in there. So that's kind of the first layer of the ocean, are these surface waves. Not there all the time, but there they are. And then below that, we're going to do this one. Now, I don't know if this is I don't think it's a proper Zentangle pattern because I've never seen it anywhere else. I snagged it off the internet. And I think it was computer generated. I don't have a name for it, but it's sort of roughly based on crescent moon. I mean, it's incorporated in it. And I just thought it was apropos of what's underneath the waves. So you can start, actually that's the wrong one. Pardon me. I just introduced the wrong tangle. Oh, the next one, excuse me, is called Wave. And it's by Caroline Provine. It's not an official Zentangle pattern or any kind of Zentangle pattern. It's just a piece of artwork that she had done incorporating these lines. And I thought, oh, this is really cool. So start over and just start with making this kind of hilltop or hill shape. These are more like rolling waves. I was so excited I got ahead of myself. And some not so peaked, more gentle waves. Just take your time and notice while you're doing this how you're sitting. You sit a little more upright. How are you breathing? Can you breathe more deeply or just notice how you're breathing? How is it? Don't try to change it, maybe just notice it. I just found these very soothing to draw. Just simple shape to really think about while you're doing it. Waves, their rhythm, how they don't stop, how the ocean never stops moving, even though it appears some days like it's glass on the surface. There are currents. Then you can leave the little blank up here if you want to. I'm going to just go in here and maybe black this out. Just little puddling in a little bit of darkness. This design, the designs we're doing this morning are very open and a second here. I hope I'm doing the right thing. Okay. Okay. So there's that one, and you could go in if you want to and just where the little areas are, the little tiny curves at the bottom of each shape. Go in and black those in too if you want. Hmm. You know, it's so funny with Zoom. It's like one day this works and another day it doesn't work. It's like, oh, I can't seem to do the door closing today. I don't have that option. I don't know why not. So people keep popping it out. But my headset's working today, so small victories. Hooray. Okay, so there's that one that has You know, she just calls it waves. Wave. That's
What
it.
was her name again?
Her name is, she's a graphic artist. Her name is Caroline, Carolin. And how many does not to spell it? I will just write it. Caroline. And see that. Caroline Provine. I think I got it off Pinterest when I did a search on water tangles. And up it came, and I thought it was really cool. I mean, in here, I mean, you could do orbs in there and Shattuck. I mean, there's so many things that you could do in these little negative space right there. So how's everybody doing? Need extra time? Anybody need extra time? Okay. I shall have some more, as my husband calls it, super antioxidant smoothie this morning. That means lots of berries, blueberries, Haskap berries, which they grow here. They're very, very, very sour. And turmeric and cinnamon. Ooh, lots of cinnamon today. Okay, so the next one, I know it's got a name. I tried to find it, but I couldn't. So I'm going to turn my paper so that it's this way. And you've probably seen this one before. So I was just going to start with this sort of bullet shape. And another one. Just going to get smaller and smaller towards the edge there. And then this one. Kind of looks like shark's teeth. Oh, we could change the whole tone of this thing from relaxation to ah, dooner, dooner. Okay. Then you're going to do another layer. Oh, I'm trying to make them more pointed for some reason. There we go, that's better. So this is kind of like, to start out with, it's kind of like the Tangle tag. Look at the little guy right stuck in there. And I'm just going to do some loners out here. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back. And about where these two lines meet, let's do a C shape coming down. It's really tiny, so I'll bring it back a little bit. Okay, and then a little eye and a little smile. And every one of them is going to be different. They all have their own little fishy personalities. And in this space, this negative space, you can do any kind of tangle you want to that will fit. So I'm going to switch to my O1 because it's a tiny space. So don't be afraid to switch pens partway through. If you come to a smaller space or a larger space, to use a fatter nib. And we're going to start with some diagonal lines on this one. And sort of repeat that over here. Now they could be all the same. If you want them all the same pattern, carry that on. And if you don't, though, you want to mix and match, let's see, we could do some orbs in here, a little tipple. And then some of that tag. So if I can get this in here, so tiny. Let's see. So these little C shapes. Okay, so let me just put that in there. There you go. As you can see, you don't have to get out your super magnifying glass to see what I'm doing. Do this tag over here as well, more like fish scales. Maybe some more diagonal lines going one way. Oops, and the other way. We'll crisscross. Again, how are you sitting? Are your feet on the floor? Are you crossing your legs? Can you uncross them? And get comfortable, but not torqued around. Just a chevron pattern here. Okay, back up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go switch back to my 05. Now this is the pattern I was talking about earlier. Oh, that has no name, that I think was computer generated, and but I liked what it represented, so we're going to do it. And if it looks familiar to you and you say, oh no, that is a pattern, you know the name, please put it in the chat. It would be lovely. So we're going to start with, from our little fish head, just pick a fish head, a nice wavy line. And I am going to go beyond this pencil line. And one of the reasons I'm doing that, many, many years ago, God, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, when I was a weaver, I took a really good week-long class with a couple of Navajo traditional weavers, and they came from Shiprock, New Mexico, to teach a class on Navajo weaving in Vermont for a week. And one of the things we learned about was, when you're doing a weaving, to always put in a spirit line. So the spirit line was to allow your spirit to leave. And so I always thought that was very cool. And apropos of what we're talking about today, about moving in and out. So I'm going to do another parallel line here above it, about moving with the waves, trusting your intuition. And then just a little crescent moon with the little auras around it. Maybe one over here, just random. Maybe another one up here. So it doesn't have to be precise. And then we start another line. And we go up to the crescent moon and we pick it up. And carry on out. And I'm going to do another one. So this is my main anchor here, you want to say, of lines. And in that, you could certainly put tangles within those lines themselves, between them. And I want to do another crescent moon down here. So Shelley, you had a great name for this online. I think you called it swoop. So you can either continue your lines or stop them out there. I'm going to stop that border, which I think is a great name for this, if it doesn't have a name already. And then again, we're going to incorporate some more crescent moon. And do the wavy line. This is the only second time I've done this, and I'm liking it even more this second time around. Ah, you can see more possibilities with it. Then we'll have another line coming through here. Another little crescent moon over here. So yeah, just fill up the space how you'd like to. And where the crescent moon in the center of it, you can black that in, put in a design, put another pattern in there. Whatever you feel is right for you. I'm itching to color. I can tell, I can just feel it. I want to color, I want to add some paint. Comes my little inside inner voice, strong. big, so we have another one right there. See lines here to X that. You know, they got this little school of fish have got a plan. They know they regain their, as I said, the poem says, we regain our sense of where we are and where we need to swim. And I think that's the key, is to determine where you are. Where are you in the scheme of things, in the time, in the space and time? Where are you before you can find the right path to swim out? So, or a path. I don't know if there's actually anything that's called the right path. I'm going to say a path. Okay, so then we're going to do the next one, which is, and that's going to be down here, Cockles and Mussels by Margaret Bremner. And her website's called The Enthusiastic Artist, and she's a CZT in Vancouver, BC. And she's got great ideas. It's just, if you've never seen or been to her website, I recommend it highly. Just very inspirational. Okay, so then.
What's her name again, Loretta?
Okay, it's Margaret Bremner. And it's The Enthusiastic. Is her blog. Oops. There.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so on the bottom of the ocean, there's all this sea life in the sand, and the shell life, the mollusks, the bivalves. So this starts with some lines that go in really any direction, crisscross, that you would like them to go. They don't have to be conforming to any particular design. They just, oh, it looks like a star. Just happened. So this is being recorded, as I said, and will be available on my YouTube channel. And it's under my name and color with an OUR, Garden Studio. And you can also subscribe if you want, which would be lovely, and make comments if you'd like, which I'd love to hear about your experiences. And you can also, I believe, make a donation if you care to keep me in brushes. Okay, so this one, I want to go in and try to, if they're too square, like this one's pretty square, I want to try to just make it a little more triangular.
What's it called again, please?
It's called Cockles.
Thank you.
COCKLES in mussels. As the old song went, alive, alive, oh. So in here, I'm going to do these shapes like that, kind of triangular shapes. And you don't have to do each one. You can leave space. I'm going to leave some space in mine. So I'm picking out ones that are more triangular if I can. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do. We'll leave the rest.
So it's like in Zeppel.
It's like in Zeppel. It starts like in Zeppel, but then we're going to give you some options. So you can do this kind of fan. Yeah, this down here. Fan type design. And then for the muscles, like that. And then this is one more for clams, where it's more of this shape, whereas mussels was more like that shape. Oops, well, nothing like. So this was this is clams. Whoop, the inner lines are more like that, and these are mussels. The inner lines are more open at the bottom. So let me attempt the clam, which I was trying to do yesterday. Turn this upside down. And it's more like that. Whereas if you can see that, the mussel is more open and this is more closed. She's the C shape. Sally sells C shapes by the seashore. Okay. Here with her. So you can make them all the same. Again, it's up to you. Or make them different. This is a funny looking shape, but that's okay. I think of all the ones, I really prefer the cockles with the straight lines. But you get to pick what you like. It's got your fish swimming, you got your waves waving, and your storm waves going, and your sea life on the bottom. So the key I find with these watercolor pencils is just to pick a few colors. Don't go crazy. It's easy to go crazy. I'm just going to get a little paper towel for blotting. Also handy. You've got some, if you get things too wet, you can quickly blot it up. That was quick. Okay, I'm going to start at the top and work down because I don't want to have my hand in the wet paint. And I'm going to get my brush wet, get it ready, swish it around in there a few times. And so the way these work is you can either color in, which I'm going to do that first. Oops, I've got these two blues. And I'm going to just, oh, nice. I'm not going to use that blue. Let's do this purple. Or let's do this blue and this green. Ah, dear. Nothing like live recordings. Okay, I'm just going to go to the top here with this lighter blue. And color that in. And then I've got this darker green. So I'm going to blend that together. oh. Maddie is here. Somebody let her in. Oh dear. She's just back from the groomer and she smells so good. Hi, you're a good girl. Oh, she's got a little bandana. She's so cute. Okay, so I've just dipped my brush in the water. The key is not to flood it. You're not going to need a lot of, it's a tiny, tiny area. So I quite often take the brush and just dab it on the paper towel a little bit to get the excess water off and just tickle. You're just really tickling the color together here. It doesn't take much water. I've got this one here, I just got that. Spread that over there. So I've got these beautiful waves starting. And this Strathmore mixed media paper can take a little bit of water. It cannot take a ton. It will buckle if you flood it. It's not like watercolor paper, which can take it. Oh, excuse me, we are bored already. Bored and want out. Okay. So then I've got this other green here, these two greens. I'm just going to try to keep it all in the same color family. Okay, I'm going to go in. So another way to do it, utilize these, is to get your brush wet and then just brush it on the tip of your pencil. And then apply. So then apply the color directly on the paper. So you can do that. And if you want it really intense, you dip the pencil right in the water and then color with it. And I don't want to do that today, but you can do that and experiment with that on your own. I've got this other green here. So let's go right in with the colored pencil over top of the other one. Got that other blue and mix more colors here. And go back in with my water and squish it around here. Squish, that's an art term. Squish it. Not my favorite, but I think I really prefer with these is to use use them dry and then add the color. Sorry, add the water, pardon me. And push them around here. So yeah, so just have fun with it. What you can do with that. And I'm thinking about this line here and how bright I want it. And I'm going to do, now if you want to really punch up your watercolor, oops, I don't want to do it this way. Put yellow in behind anything. So it can be this is a very cool yellow. So I really want to punch up this line. This is my spirit line coming out, and I just want it to really glow. So I'm going to put the yellow in behind. It can also be a warm yellow. So the warm yellow looks like this. And just to give you an idea, there's the light yellow, the cool yellow, and there's a warm yellow beside her, slightly warmer. I'm just going to go in there and scribble some of this on here. I really wish this pencil hadn't died on me, but that's okay. I want to go in here a bit with this. It's like a greeny blue. It's like a Prussian blue. Do you have a name? Oh, it's a cobalt blue, it says. Maybe add a little more down here. Then go back in with my watercolor brush. Again, I'm swishing it around, make sure it's clean. And make it come together here.
Loretta, are you
Yep.
using yellow watercolor pencil underneath or Prisma color?
Watercolor pencil underneath, yeah. The Supra, Caran Dash Supra color is watercolor pencil, yeah. But I put it on dry first, like a dry colored pencil, and then I add the water. And it brings up, makes it a little more vibrant once you add the water. Sort of like ink tints in that way. So I've got this real strong line going through this bright. And then, you know, you can expand from there. And then for the bottom tangle, for the cockles and muscles, I'm going to go back to some dark colors here. Got this kind of green and go in here. That down. I put that down with my dry pencil, my dry watercolor pencil quite intensely. And then I got a nice green over top here. Maybe a little bit of yellow too. See what happens. What the heck? And go in and brush on some water. So this yellow is very opaque. It's quite chalky. This kind of cool yellow. Most cool yellows, whether it's whatever kind of paint it is, acrylic to tube watercolors, tends to be chalkier. It tends to be more opaque, so it means you can't see through it very well as opposed to transparent colors. It's going to be heavier in appearance. So yeah, so just have fun with it. Have fun coloring whichever way you want to do, and experiment. And I'm going to stop the recording, and then you can show me what you're doing. And thank you so much, who's ever watching this on video, for joining me today. Okay.